Hi, girls, and welcome back to Self Care for Black Girls, a podcast where we relax, sip tea, and chat about bettering ourselves as black girls. I'm BB, and I'll be helping guide you to make better choices in your daily lives. Okay, so this week, since I got my hair braided, I think I decided to do a video on hair. A video, a podcast or an episode on hair. Today's episode is going to be about whether and when you should use hot or cold water when washing your hair. So I'm going to start out with the hot water's pros and cons. I'm going to start out with cold water pros and cons. And then I'm going to kind of guide you to when you should use each temperature. So let's get started. Hot water has a lot of, when you think about it, it potentially has a lot of pros, because obviously if it's hotter, it's going to kill anything. Oh, excuse me. I had a hiccup. Obviously it's going to kill anything, the bad bacteria and whatnot that you have in your hair, and it's going to help rinse, remove the dirt and build up. But in actuality, it really only has one or two really good things that comes from using it. The first one is that it removes dirt and build up. Like I just said, it kind of, I'm not going to say that, but it's really good at removing dirt and build up. And it also opens your pores for later on in your wash day routine when you're putting in the conditioner, the different moisturizers while you're in the shower. But hot water is not always healthy for your hair because it can cause your hair to be frizzy. It can, if you've dyed your hair or, what's the other word? Dyed or rinsed your hair. It can cause the color to fade faster, and it can also cause your hair to be very dry and very brittle. So as much as you may like to use hot water for your whole wash day routine, it's not exactly a very ideal thing to do. Which brings us to the cold water. Cold water has a few more pros than it does cons. In fact, if you can tolerate the con, it's almost, well, no, you shouldn't do that. I was going to say if you can tolerate the cons, it's almost better to only use cold water, but then cold water doesn't help remove the buildup in dirt as well as hot water, so don't do that. But a couple of the pros that comes with using cold water on your hair is that it seals in moisture. Like I said earlier, if you use the hot water to open your pores, then, and your hair follicles and whatnot, when you put on the conditioner and then rinse it out with the cool water, it'll seal all of that in. It increases the shine of your hair. So heat tends to strip your hair of its natural shine, but because it's cold water, your natural shine is not being stripped. So it increases the shine and doesn't dull your hair out. And it smooths your hair, less frizz, which is what most people want out of their wash day routine, especially if they plan on doing like a wash and go. They definitely want less frizz. And then there's one con that I could come up with, like I said, and that is cold water does make your hair look flat and less bouncy because there's less frizz. Your hair is more likely to be flat, not really bouncy. But if you use a good moisturizer, then you shouldn't have that issue. And also, if you stick to this order that I'm about to give you on how to wash your, what order you should use each temperature of water to wash your hair, then you shouldn't have any of these issues, to be completely honest. And you would want to wash your hair with warm to hot water, preferably warm, but you can use hot if you want to remove the dirt and build up. And then when you go to put your conditioner in, put your conditioner in, let it sit if you're doing a deep conditioner. If you're not, you're doing like one of those short ones. Whichever one you do, you want to rinse it out with cool to cold water, as cold as you can take it, to add the shine and to seal in the moisture and to prevent frizz at the end. If you do not rinse your hair with cold water, then put conditioner in, and then rinse it out again with cold water. No. When you are rinsing your hair out for the very last time, that's when you should use the cool to cold water, because you don't want, the hot water to rinse out the frizz. You don't want the hot water to rinse out to strip your shine, and you also don't want the cold water, if you rinse before, to seal up your pores and seal up your hair, if that makes sense. To seal up your pores and whatnot before you put the conditioner in, because if that happens, then the conditioner is just going to be sitting on your hair instead of penetrating and getting into your hair to make it shiny and bouncy and whatnot. Wow. I guess last week and this week's episode are going to be, we're pretty short. But that is all I really have for you all today. Make sure, if you guys really want to support this podcast, it would really make me happy if you go head over to Patreon. The web address is in the description for the episode, and the link is on the about page on my blog. So please donate. Head over to the blog for other suggestions regarding the hot and the cold water episode. Well, the hot and the cold water, when you should use them, and what could be going wrong in your wash day routine. So yeah, head over there. The web address is also in the description for the episode, and it is also linked on my Instagram page, so which you guys should follow me on there and on Twitter. Both handles are in the description. I'm also thinking about doing a Q&A sometime in June. So if that's something you guys would be interested in, let me know. You can either comment on the blog, comment, or DM me on Twitter or Instagram, and I'll get back to you. I just need feedback so I know what to do. All right. But like I said, that's all that I have. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in this week. If you have any questions about today's topics, want to share an inspiring story, or be featured in our monthly Q&As, send them to me at selfcarebgirl@gmail.com. Also, don't forget to head over to my blog at selfcareblackgirls.wordpress.com to see extra content, pictures, and links that were mentioned in the show. Spread the word. Subscribe, rate, and review us on iTunes. It really helps. To help support this podcast, you can send a one-time or monthly donation to patreon.com/selfcareforblackgirls, and you'll receive a special gift. Thanks again for listening, and don't forget to stay beautiful.